Welcome back, Wolfpack Brawlers here, and this is how to use Darkrai. So Darkrai is an infamously frustrating Pokemon, and it's actually really interesting when we compare it to a Pokemon like Cresselia. They have the same base stat total, yet Darkrai is not usable in official Pokemon play while Cresselia is. Now there's also due to accessibility that we get Cresselia through the main storyline of the games, and Darkrai has been an event. At the same time, they are counterpart Pokemon, and they do have that same stat sharing, so it just kind of shows the way that Pokemon treats these things. Now with mythical Pokemon, event Pokemon, special Pokemon like that, they're not going to be usable, even though they are on par with some of the others. However, at the same time, Darkrai is pretty broken, because 135 special attack with 125 speed is just a solid sweeper Pokemon, that when we compare it to other Pokemon, Greninja has less offenses and then less speed, so we're getting to that level of outspeeding almost everything and doing a ton of damage at the same time. The hit points and defenses and stuff going to be fairly low. We're not going to be investing anything tankily for Darkrai, so it does mean we do have some pretty frail defenses, but we are a bit bulkier than most sweeper Pokemon, which generally have like around 70s in the defenses and maybe even less hit points, so we might survive some hits that other sweepers won't. And let's just go and look at the typing. Darkrai is going to be a dark typing, just a pure dark type, and this is where the breakdown is fighting, bug, and fairy weakness, immunity to psychic, and resistance to ghost and dark. So it was just fighting and bug back in 5th generation. Now in 6th generation we have that added fairy weakness, but that nerf really doesn't affect Darkrai at all. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, we just get to see how busted Darkrai is. It's such a unfun, just frustrating Pokemon that back in the 4th generation when people like get a hold of a Game Shark or something or an action replay and then they'd use a Darkrai against you, just very not fun. Very not fun wherever you see a Darkrai because it's going to outspeed you, it's going to have a very high chance of putting you to sleep, and that's why we've just break down Dark Void. Dark Void is its signature move and the signature reason for its frustrating power, because let's look at this, 80% accurate move. Spore is 100% accurate, but that only has a very few amount of Pokemon that can use it and don't have the sweeping potential that Darkrai has. For other moves like Hypnosis, only 60% accuracy, and even Sleep Powder, 75% accuracy. But Dark Void even gets crazier from there because it puts both opponents to sleep in double battles. That's not even cool. 80%, both opponents go down. I think Game Freak was making some bold decisions right there. And now let's go and compare it to Cresselia really quick, because we have 135 and 125 as our max stats. We have 120 and 130 on Cresselia, then we swap out the speed for hit points pretty much, and that's where we get the stat similarities, because they're both base 600 stats, but Darkrai not usable and just a lot scarier to think about as a Pokemon. So the idea behind Darkrai is you Dark Void, so 80% chance that they go to sleep, use Nasty Plot, pretty high chance they're still asleep, and then you blow them up with the Dark Pulse. So Nasty Plot is going to raise your special attack by 2, which doubles your special attack, which means over 700 special attack after one usage of Dark Pulse. And the way that Dark Void works with Bad Dreams is that they're losing a lot of health as well. Causes sleeping adjacent foes to lose 1/8 of their max hit points at the end of each turn. So Dark Void, Bad Dreams causes them to lose 1/8. You do damage, if they don't get knocked out, they lose another 1/8. So really, you only have to do 3/4 of a Pokemon's health. Well, technically like a little over if they have uneven hit points. But the idea is you don't even have to fully knock out your opponent with a ×2 special attack, which isn't that hard to do. So Dark Pulse, going to get stabbed, chance to flinch as well. They wake up, 20% chance to flinch, and then pretty much game's over right there. The only thing about Darkrai that takes thought is what other move you're running. Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb makes a lot of sense, with fairy types threatening you pretty hard. You put them to sleep, then you use Sludge Bomb to do a lot of damage to them, and that could be something very powerful right there. Other than that, we are also considering other moves like Focus Blast. Focus Blast is going to counter out other Dark-type Pokemon. 70% accuracy though, bit risky, not as reliable, and then there's also moves like Thunder. Now the reason why Thunder gets the pass when Focus Blast doesn't is because we're going to be playing this format with other legendary Pokemon. Rarely do people say, I'm not bringing in legendaries though. It's pretty much going to be just a legendary format. We're going to see Pokemon like Lugia, where you're going to be seeing Pokemon like Yveltal, and then most likely Kyogre. Now with Kyogre, it's going to bring Rain, potentially Primordial Rain, maybe just regular Rain, and that's why Thunder is going to work, because Rain's on the field, Thunder has perfect accuracy, so you Dark Void Nasty Plot into Thunder, and then you're just doing a lot of damage for free, and it's kind of also worth it to do like huge amounts of damage onto another Pokemon. Well, technically you can use Dark Pulse on Lugia, but a Pokemon like Yveltal, Thunder's going to be worth the risk. If not, you can just run Thunderbolt, and that's kind of it. Like, maybe you might see the Dream Eater here and there, But the way that Darkrai works is most likely you're trying to not get touched, and then you're just blowing up your opponent. But Dream Eater does make sense. Dark Void, they go to sleep on that first turn, they don't wake up, and then you're going to be outspeeding them with the Dream Eater. So it is some very high base power, and it might find some super effective hits on things like fighting type Pokemon. So it really just depends on what you want to run. The idea is Dark Void, Nasty Plot, and then you just score KOs. Once Pokemon goes down, Dark Void into another KO move, and that's it. As for nature, I was thinking Timid. We have to outspeed everything. We just have to make sure we're outspeeding those Pokemon. After we boost Nasty Plot, it really doesn't matter, and then the item is up to you. I personally like Focus Sash. It gives you a free pass. That if Dark Void misses, that if you don't get the KO and your opponent outspeeds you or something, Darkrai can survive one blunder and then still go for the sweep. So yeah, you Dark Void Nasty Plot, you score a KO. Say they have a Scarf Pokemon, they outspeed you, they would have knocked you out. Nope, you Dark Void them, and then you go into Dark Pulse or some kind of KO move. And that's going to pretty much be the big thing after that. Life Orb works as well. That if you're just anticipating, alright, I have 5 other Pokemon, I'm going to be removing their faster Pokemon with my other Pokemon, like you have a couple of walls on your team or something, then you just kind of go, alright, everything else is slower than me, I don't have to worry about getting outsped. If Dark Void misses, just blame it on hacks, and then you just go for ultimate wall breaking. That Dark Void into a 30% boosted damage, Nasty Plot, Stab, Dark Pulse, it doesn't matter what your opponent's trying to do, they're not going to get around the Darkrai, and that's why this Pokemon is just brutally unfun. And it also does get some other things. Since it has access to Blizzard, that means we do get Ice Beam, so we have some pretty interesting elemental coverage. However, we don't get access to Flamethrower, so keep that in mind. Overall, just Dark Pulse is going to cover out a lot of really good things. Now that Dark isn't resisted by Steel, yeah, you don't really need Flamethrower. So it depends on the coverage, and it's kind of as complicated as Darkrai gets. Well, the only other thing I can complain about is Sean, my childhood friend when we played Pokemon together, getting a Darkrai in-game because they did the event and then using it against me every battle, which was really unfun. They thought he was a better Pokemon trainer because of it. Yeah, you thought I'd forget Sean, huh? I think we all have that moment with Darkrai. Other things, Dark Void is technically legal in VGC. While Darkrai can't use it, it is a legal move for Smeargle. Now the interesting thing is, Dark Void has come in and out of legality in VGC. One year the actual move Dark Void was banned. I think it was because Darkrai wasn't currently legally available or something at that point. So Smeargle can sketch a Darkrai through some kind of black magic, and then you have a Smeargle with Dark Void in doubles, and then that just combos into all kinds of things. So generally you just want to have like a Focus Sash, a Pokemon Fake Out. So you fake out their Pokemon, you survive on the Focus Sash, put both their Pokemon to sleep, and then you have all sorts of filthy setup. You can see Geomancy Baton Pass, you can see skill swaps, you can see whatever Smeargle wants to do. That the potential for Smeargle is endless. I have like 10 Smeargle strategies across my channel at some point, so just look up like Smeargle Verlisify, get ideas. And it's a lot of Dark Void. You'll see Endeavor, and then it just Smeargle is crazy like that. So if you see a Smeargle in VGC, 90% of the time it's going to be running Dark Void to put both of your opponents to sleep, and that's kind of the thing. So Smeargle adds to the Darkrai pool, and that Darkrai's just busted, one-dimensional, sets up, and then makes the game not fun. So if you guys enjoyed this video, that's how you use Darkrai, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.